Hi friends, hope everyone is doing great. Thanks for watching The Source, God's Answers to Life's Hard Questions. Please continue to share and like these videos. Please subscribe. See the light, be the light, and share the light. When my brother and I were growing up, we each had our own very distorted pair of old running shoes by choice, which we refused to throw away because they were just really very comfortable. Our mother kept telling us, as mothers will do, that it was time to throw them away. It's not nice to have shoes like that. And also, distorted shoes can affect the way you walk, and they can misshape a growing foot. Just like Chinese used to do the opposite. They used to bind women's feet to control their growth and size. My mother also warned me through the years not to wear very baggy clothing all the time because she was worried that I'd get too comfortable in them and not feel myself getting fat. So, my mother's warnings, even though at the time they aggravated me, as mother's warnings will do, they were great life lessons, because where my mother was a pragmatist, I was a philosopher. How often in life do we feel too comfortable where we are, fall into the comfort zone instead of doing what's right and good for us? We're so reluctant to leave the comfort zone, as though it's some exemplary, idealistic state of being. But the truth is, my mother was right, and wearing fitting clothing kept me in line through the years as obesity runs through my family. As for the running shoes, they got tossed out, but the point being is that the comfort zone is not our friend. It's a place where we lull ourselves like little babies with excuses, where we cower in fear and stop seeing who we are and what we are becoming. In the bagginess, the details get lost, and there is no valuable reference frame to measure our lives, our growth, and God forbid, our failures. In regards to friends, how many of us spend tons of time with certain people because we're comfortable with them? They make us feel comfortable with ourselves, instead of finding friends who are role models, who challenge us and teach us something. Motivational speakers say we are the average of the 5 people with whom we spend the most time. Author Jim Quick says, if you hang out with 9 poor people, be sure you will be the 10th one. The Talmud, too, has something to say on this matter. Firstly, distance yourself from a bad neighbor, bad friend. Rabbi Hanina said, I have learned much from my teachers, but even more from my friends. Comfortable to be ourselves? We don't even know who we are unless we've been tried and tested, so have courage to fail. Math teaches us that the more times you try, the more chances you have to succeed. Failure, my friends, is not a death sentence. It's a teacher. It's actually sad how many of us get too comfortable in jobs that are beneath us, love relationships that diminish us, body sizes that inhibit us, or habits that kill us. We even grow comfortable in our misery and the toxic voices in our head. The whole world is bad. I'm the only good normal person left, etc. And as such, we disengage, stay in our bathrobes, hide under the blanket, eat terrible food, OD on YouTube. Scientists tell us that a person has 70,000 thoughts a day. It's not a small number. And if that were dollars, we'd be checking all the time to see if it was safe. We have to check our thoughts too. How are those thoughts feeding our choices? Are they poisonous thoughts or healthy thoughts? If someone would come up to any one of us and say, you're a big failure, a loser, a moron, an idiot, we would tell them where to get off, maybe punch them in the head. The reply for sure would not be godly. So why do we talk to ourselves that way? Judaism prohibits talking badly about people. That includes ourselves. Change your thoughts, change your life. And yes, it's scary because even as we get inspired, we start thinking everyone else is better than us, smarter than us, more capable than us. And basically, we are afraid of life because we think everyone is superior, even as we bash them, and we're afraid to fail. But as the book Outliers portrays, geniuses are made, they're not born. Few are greater than us naturally. And the proof is that the self-help market is a multi-billion-dollar market without ever having to open a self-help book. Just acknowledging the size of the industry should be an instant cure for all your insecurities. Why? Because it's telling us, shouting at us, that everyone is in the same boat. Everyone is afraid or insecure on some level. And yet, we fear to venture forth because we think the comfort zone sustains us. But it doesn't, because life is like a treadmill and it's always moving, and you are either going forward or being pulled backwards, sometimes imperceptibly slow, but going backwards just the same. Unfortunately, we're afraid to know the truth about ourselves. We prefer to remain legends in our own minds. But instead, we need to keep reminding ourselves that we were not assembled in China with substandard components. God, the Almighty, created us, and He is the best manufacturer. When we connect with our godly purpose, there is no such thing as failure. This Shabbat on the Hebrew calendar marks the month of Elul. It's a month of introspection where people try to improve themselves before the high holidays that are coming, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. But change can never really come if we don't hone in on what needs to be changed. In this week's parasha, Re'eh, it opens with the words, "Behold, I set before you today a blessing and a curse." Behold, because it demands observation. We think that the choice should be clear and easy, but it's not, because the evil inclination starts blurring the lines between our choices. And then there's excuses and agendas and fears that start doing a great PR job for the curses. And so very often we grab for the curse because it's comfortable. We go with what we know. Friends, now, this month and always, is the time to start analyzing our lives, categorizing our behaviors, and start choosing blessings. We have to stop loving things, people, habits, foods, drugs, and drinks that don't love us back. And if we're honest, we'll acknowledge that there isn't one among us who doesn't want to adopt the American Army slogan, "Be all that you can be." But many have stopped acknowledging because of fear in the comfort zone. It's not too late. It's not impossible. I want to end this with a blessing for all of you. We are told that God doesn't recognize the Jewish people from one Yom Kippur to the next. The pure souls that left the synagogue a year earlier, that prayed and fasted, and then returned a year later in such a blemished state, God doesn't recognize them. But my prayer for us all is that next year at this time, God won't recognize us once again, but for a very different reason. This time it will be because we are better, brighter, happier, healthier, holier than ever before. And maybe, as my mother taught, we can indeed be improved by a running shoe. For as the Nike slogan says, just do it. Shabbat Shalom.